Hey everybody, hope you are enjoying San Diego Comic-Con at Home 2021. Bandai Dave here with our Normal Rogues Gallery and some very special guests going to be talking about everything Transformers. But before we get started, make sure to go to bluefinbrands.com and check out all of the amazing things we have to offer there for San Diego Comic-Con at Home. We have Transformer exclusives, we have exclusives from Storm, we have so many exclusives, we don't know what to do with them. We are also going to be doing a giveaway during this live stream that we'll talk about a little bit later. But Justin, why don't you introduce us to our amazing panelists today?
Sweet. Thank you, David. All right, so coming in hot, we have some amazing voice actors joining us today. Very excited about this. First up is Mr. Billy Bob Thompson. How are you doing today?
Hey, good, man. How's it going?
Fabulous. No complaints.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, this is great. This is kind of cool. I can watch like a YouTube show while being on a YouTube show.
Yeah, I know, right?
You guys got the crying cuts and stuff. Actually, what am I supposed to? I'm supposed to say, okay, my name is Billy Bob Thompson. I'm in Transformers Cyberverse as Starscream and more importantly, Repugnus. And I'm also on, what's that called? Rescue Bots as Sludge.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And then we also have returning Jason Marnocha. How are you doing today?
Doing okay. Glad to be here, of course, and meet some folks that I haven't actually gotten to say hey to before. So, hey, everybody.
Hey,
and I am the voice of Megatron in the Transformers Prime Wars trilogy, and now the War for Cybertron on Netflix. So good to be here.
Ooh, good to have you. No joke. It was awesome having you last year. Very excited to have you return. And then moving on, we have Mr. Todd Haberkorn, who you might know as Shockwave. I mean, I'm wearing a Shockwave shirt. Super mega fan.
Thanks for representing Shockwave and Red Alert in War for Cybertron, and then a Transformer in a thing coming that, of course, you know, it's always a thing of like, I'll tell you about it when I can talk about it in 2040. But
it's just us. You can tell us. We're not going to tell anybody.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I think before I forget the thought, you know, I see the exclusive toys and things like that. I feel like San Diego missed out on one exclusive where they could have promoted like a special, like a little piece of the 405 that had no cars on it and said exclusive, no traffic this year at San Diego Comic-Con. And it's a little piece of the 405 with the little, like, this many miles of San Diego sign on it. And it was like a little piece of paper floating in the wind, or a little, you know, dust bowl or something. That exclusive would have been awesome, because you can't ever do it again. I bet you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
It was actually next year's exclusive. Sorry.
That's it. We're extending
spoilers,
Todd.
Jeez.
One more Comic-Con at Home in 2022. The 7 of us, we're going to make it happen.
Right. 100%. And speaking of the 7 of us, we also have Mr. David Clark, brand manager for Flame Toys. Thank you for joining us. And our favorite, AJ.
Favorite? Wow. Hi.
I mean, there's like 7 other people in this room who are like, what?
They're all
he's my favorite too.
You're wearing the shirt of your favorite.
I know. Every conversation I have is thank you so much. You are the best. Everyone's always the best around me. Well, that's great. Let's kick things off. So, Billy, why don't you tell us where your voice acting career kicked off?
Oh my goodness, kicked off. Okay, so I'm gonna say 12 years ago, I was living in Philly, just looking for ways to make money, and I'd been doing like comedy and stuff where you
on the street,
dumb
Billy.
voices, just busking, you know, just trying to get out there, earning pennies and SEPTA tokens. And then I found a Craigslist ad that was looking for it was this Korean company that needed to do, like, you know, they wanted to teach Korean kids English. So I was like, oh, I know English. So I Craigslist responded to them and totally lied about all my credits. My entire reel was like fabricated, and I just lied my ass off. And they've been, to this day, the longest running job I've ever had. So
who says crime doesn't pay?
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Right. It paid off.
We're pro-com.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm a millionaire coming upon billionaire here. I'm loaded, right?
Well, get to space. What are you doing? Why are you still here?
Bezos, Elon, Billy Bob going to space. Yeah.
The 3 commas club.
To be recognized.
Yeah. No, that's great.
And then, you know, just meeting people and networking, meeting. And then like 8 years later, I got a shot on Transformers. Sweet.
Were you a Transformers fan prior to getting a job?
Oh, yeah. I was more of I had a dream about it last night, what my favorite one was. And I think Beast Wars was the one I watched the most.
Oh, now we're talking.
Yeah.
I can't tell you
Oh,
how many
yeah.
times I've pitched Optimus. Here we
Go
go.
Ah, there it
Optimus.
is. There it is. Yes.
Jason knows.
I'm still lobbying for this. I want this to happen.
So that's great.
So many things you could do with Optimus.
I know, right? It's something I'll never get tired of
Right
talking
there.
about. Everyone over here is rolling their eyes off camera. They're like, "Oh my god!"
I wish you would have been there when I actually pitched your idea to Hasbro. They were like, "Yeah, David, yeah, we'll get right on that."
It sounds like you need a drawing of Optimus first.
Yeah, we need a concept.
Or maybe if we had the voice for Optimus, they'd take it more seriously. Maybe
Right.
sometime in this hour we'll workshop it and we'll find the voice between the 7 of us.
Right?
Does
Like,
he just sound like Bullwinkle?
Just-
Or
I think
how-
so.
yeah.
It's like the moose goes moose. All for it. That's great. Thank you, Billy. Jason, why don't you remind all of us how you got into voice acting?
Mainly because I got tired of memorizing scripts.
Yep.
Yeah, I was doing the theater and film school thing, and then I started toying around in the radio department, and eventually I realized, oh, this is way more sort of free flowing and fun to do voiceover than to have to sit down and read through the script and hey, can you workshop this with me because I need someone to play off of and all this sort of stuff. So from there, after doing the whole radio thing, I basically dove in and ended up networking enough that I was able to, do some indie video games here and there and things of that sort just at home in my booth and then my weird lair here. And then after a while, you network and meet enough people and then you get more shots and whatnot. So honestly, it just sort of, just escalated in a pretty normal, uninteresting, non-busking for quarters kind of way. So his was way better. But yeah, so just sort of, lucky to meet the right people when I met them and, meeting Eric Calderon, and then he gave me a shot on Transformers. And so Megatron's become my favorite ever since.
Sweet. Do you use Megatron to get into the clubs and cut into the front of the line?
Oh yeah, they just let me right in. Oh yeah, yeah. Just
All hail
excuse me.
Megatron.
Table 5, please.
Perfect.
Oh, that's fire. I would only talk in that voice if I could do that.
You gotta carry a jug of water with you, though. That's
Oh
just
god,
gonna
yeah,
hurt your
like a backpack of tea.
Oh,
Just have a straw to my mouth.
throat. There you go, like a camelback.
Yeah, I'm not
Tigers.
above this.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that's great. Thank you. And Todd, how are you doing, man?
I want to do one day. It won't be this one, but one day in an interview when someone asks me how I'm doing, I'm gonna dive into the darkest. Just because because if I were to say anything but doing great, what would if I was like, you know what? I killed a man.
Oh
And
man.
I
Practice it
didn't
now,
have
go
time
for
to
it.
hide the body before this, and I wanted to make sure I made good on this, but there's a rotting corpse in the hallway right now, and I don't know how to deal with this, guys. Like, what would would people be like, okay, so here's what you want to do. I'm gonna grab some ammonia. Or would it be like, we need to call that would be next time, not this time. There's
You should
nobody.
end that story with, and that man's name was Todd Haberkorn.
Yeah. There's no body yet. It's happy that it's Friday. Happy to be here with y'all, meeting badasses, seeing badasses in the screen, interacting with these badasses, and hello to the corn stars that are in the comments and checking this out. For me, just in terms of how I got to hey Charlie, how I got to the land of VO is I started out in stage, which morphed into on camera, which turned into VO, and I never thought VO was going to be a thing for me because when I was a kid, I have two things going against me. One, I was made fun of for my voice a lot, and so I just never thought that was ever going to be a thing. And as you know, Billy Bob, Jason, when you're on panels, you have a lot of kids that come to your panels that talk about not feeling accepted, not feeling part of the crew. And so I felt that. And so especially being, an Asian mutt, because I'm not Asian enough to look super, super Asian, but I'm not Asian enough to look whatever else. And so it was an interesting career trajectory for me because when I would go out for commercial auditions, casting directors would be like, I don't know what to do with your look. Literally say that. Like, I don't know what to do with your look. And I'm like, Steve Buscemi's over here rocking it. And I'm over here. You don't know what to do with my look. And so it was an odd place to be on camera. And so, voiceover came along. Hey, Afro Queen. Kinsey, voiceover came along, and it's something that I was just like, let me just see how this goes. And obviously that's not to say that there wasn't training involved in hard work, et cetera. I think we're magicians in a way where it's not our job to show you the strings and the magic behind the curtain. We just need to make it seem seamless for you. So you don't need to know about the hard work and the hours of long hours, the canceled vacations to do this gig, or the staying up late to do this session, or getting up early to do this, or the 1,000th read on this, or you don't need to hear about all that. You just need to know that when you come to Oz and you get in the queue, if you're tall enough to get on the ride, you can ride with us. And so it's been it's been a journey. That was a minute ago when I got into VO, and it's been happily ever after, and I hope it continues to be. So thank you for having me.
No, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And by the way, I have a binder with all sorts of emergencies, and finding a dead body in a hallway is one of the tabs. So I could help you with that.
Thank you.
In the future.
Because what would be even weirder is if I'm like, I don't know how it got here. Like
I blacked out.
And then that's the exclusive for 2022 is a hallway. You take the same model you used for the freeway, the hallway, empty, boom, body right in the middle.
Easy peasy. I'll take
Here's the way that you add the big twist at the end of it too, is be like, there's a body in the hallway and it's been trying to talk to me for an hour.
Yes.
Yeah. It won't stop. Make it go away. So, a couple of you mentioned video games. Is there any sort of difference for you in your approach when you're recording for video games versus an animated series?
More screaming for me. I'd like to take the day off after I do a long video game, the next day, maybe a few days afterwards.
Yeah.
Other than that, screaming the same iteration, a lot of synonyms.
Sure.
Well, I feel bad for
Go over there.
Bad for Jason, because you know where Jason's voice sits, and Billy, you and I have a higher, right? But where Jason sits, orc with 500 screaming lines. Where's Jason at?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm always doing that sort of, whatever, like that kind of thing for. Yeah. But
that was great. That was great. But could you do it 5 more times?
Actually, do it 5 more times.
Yeah. The first one was
sexy.
Perfect. It was perfect.
We needed to be sexier.
8 or 9 more times.
No, the knife is being twisted to the left, not to the right. I could hear it. Could you do that again?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Yeah, no, it's true, though. The efforts are definitely... You know what gets me almost more than the screams is the individual, like, you're lifting a small object, you're lifting a medium object, you're lifting a heavy object, because then you do it 800 times. And
They save it for the end, too. Like, just open with that shit. So
and just to clarify for the folks that are watching, what Jason and Billy are referring to is you hear these efforts in the game, and we do these lines, but at the end of it, they have a grab bag where they want... Because we don't know. We don't see what we're doing. It's just a script. And so they're like, okay, well, we might need a small grab, a medium grab, a large grab. So pretend you're grabbing an orange, moving a fridge, moving a building. And so
it's a fridge full of oranges.
A fridge full of oranges. And one of the oranges got out, and now it's mutant orange, and it's attacking you. So give us some screams. Now you're on fire. And so
it's left a body in your hallway. Now what do you do?
Yeah, and it's part orange, and
Back to it.
and so that's what they're talking about. And yeah, when you what's the my question for you both is that what's the weirdest, and I'll give you context for this, the weirdest direction you've gotten on an effort? For me, it was such a simple effort. It was like I think it was the phrase "good morning." It was literally "good morning," and the director goes, so this is what you would say if, you're just greeting somebody coming into a space just to say, and I'm like, oh, good morning is the phrase you want. So thank you for
like I said to you earlier in real life.
Thank you for explaining the foreign concept of good morning to me. But has there been anything like that where you've received something and you just like wanted to like look at the camera for a second and just
just to give him a Jim helper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get like a lot of like. I mean, I hate to call out an entire group of people, but it's with the Russians. They like to go like, It needs to be happy but sad. Go.
Billy, I need you to make happy, but you do sad.
Happy but sad. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Good notes. Good notes.
A quiet yell. A very quiet yell.
Yeah, like Nick Nolte. Nick Nolte has a quiet yell.
He does
There
have
you
a
go.
quiet yell.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've gotten a similar kind of thing where it's like the direction was like some sort of maniacal thing, and then I did this crazy maniacal what they kind of asked for, and then I was asked a little less happy in the mania, and I'm like, okay, all right,
You don't enjoy killing, Jason.
Yeah.
You're sad about it.
it's like but this okay,
Like I know I haven't read the script. But have you
Afterwards,
read the
you feel
script?
bad.
yeah, right, like. Ugh.
I'm gonna have to write this down. Hold up.
No, that's great.
But no, I love Russia. I love everything they're doing.
Yeah.
Put that out there.
Hey!
Hey, special guest.
Oh.
Now it's a stream.
This is
Now we can
Squirm.
start.
This is Squirm. I just had to introduce him because
Oh.
when I get a little rambunctious, he checks in to make sure everything's okay. Thank you.
Aw.
Make
Is
sure you're not
everything
killing
okay?
anybody.
Is everything? Yeah.
Yeah.
Your dog got a lot
He's
of
gonna be
blood
the one
on
that
him.
finds the body.
Yeah. Dad, there's someone in the hallway.
No, that's great. So I just want to tell everyone that we're actually giving away these model kits that are here in the center of the table. So go ahead and leave a comment, and we will pick out winners. We're going to have 3 different winners. Looks like we're giving away a Star Screen, giving away a Megatron,
Yes.
and a clear Optimus Prime, which was... And it's in a tin. This was last year's event exclusive. So please ask your questions. Put them here in the comments. We'll add them on the screen. And our friends here can answer them for you. And that'll put you in an entry to win one of these model kits from Flame Toys.
Like a ghost? He's a ghost Optimus Prime?
Yeah, he's clear. He's seen shit that'll turn you white.
Now, how hard is it for you
Optimus
guys?
got him.
Optimus. Yeah. I need Optimus.
How much direction do you guys typically get going into not audition, but into a gig, to where you're able to like find your voice ahead of time, or do you need to kind of give them a bunch of different options and they choose from that, or how's that process for you guys as far as just finding the voice, like of Megatron, of Shockwave, of anyone else you've played?
For me, it's been usually they go, if you audition for the thing, they usually go at least based somewhat on your audition. But like with Megatron, when I first auditioned for him, it was just that down here, just that rumbling growl and stuff and nothing else. And then when we started workshopping a little bit, we wanted to put it up here so then it goes down to emphasize things and then comes up again. So, we didn't want it to just stay in that one flat zone. So you work these things out, with the director and whatnot. But with some other things, like if, you might want to, you get cast in something, an anime or whatever, based on, them believing that you're right for this role and you don't have a voice ahead of time. In which case, sometimes they have me just, this is what the Japanese sounds like. We're trying to hit that, or we're not hitting that at all. And you can just do, whatever feels more right for the characters. So it depends. It depends.
That's great. What about this question on the screen right now? Any Transformers that you haven't voiced yet that you would like to?
Optimus.
There we go.
Hands down. Hands down. I know we're all in the running, but I really want to.
You are my
Well,
hero.
you know what's interesting about that? When for War for Cybertron, when Phil who directed it, was a great guy, of course, awesome guy. And that's not always a given, because sometimes it's real jerks that are directing that just get ahead. They just fail upward. But Phil's not in that category. He's awesome. But when we were auditioning for the roles, obviously growing up, we all love Optimus. Everybody loves Optimus. And so when we were looking at the tabs of auditioning for the different characters, I looked at Optimus and I turned to him and I go, how many rollouts have you heard today from people? And he goes, more than you would think. And he goes, do you want to take a crack at reading for Optimus Prime? And even though I would love to do that and love to be able to do Optimus, I know that my voice is not there for that role. So but he was like pushing me. He goes, go ahead, read for Optimus. And I'm like, what's that? And I just was like, I'm good. I don't want to do it. So but then when I got in the car, I was like, I should have done it. I should have read for it, but I knew better
Dude,
than to
see. I did it,
No.
and then when I got back, I was like, I shouldn't have done it. It's like the exact opposite. Like, roll out.
Nailed it.
Autobot, transform, and roll out, everybody.
We are here.
Yeah.
No,
I do
that's
have to
awesome.
disagree.
See, I
with
want
Todd
this
on
show
the,
now.
Everybody loves Optimus. I'm a Decepticon guy to the core.
Oh, David. Okay.
You guys are in my ilk.
Oh, that's great. Well, CW Robertson, that was a great question, and you just won this Starscream right here, man.
Hey-o.
Starscream.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you can either
that is
message
awesome.
me on Instagram at Bluefin Brands or at Twitter at Bluefin Brands, and we'll connect. We'll get your address, send you this Starscream.
If I had to pick my all-time favorite Transformer, it's Starscream. I don't know. I just love the Seekers. I love that he just wants to murder Megatron at like every step of the way. Megatron's just like,
As you do.
Megatron just lets it happen. He knows it's coming.
he's like, it's cute. You can try all you want, but you're of no threat to me.
Maybe
Sort of like
this
the-
time it'll work.
Sort of like the noisy intern or something, you know. It's just like, ah, yes, you'll figure it out someday.
But see,
Who's
I
always
wonder,
got an
Ouch.
idea.
I wonder why
idea,
Starscream has never thought about using the time element. Go back in time when Megatron is only a little baby cell phone, and then crush him. And then
Don Cheadle's.
Megatron always finds a way to come back.
yeah,
Nothing
that's
can
true.
stop him.
That's true. We find out he's actually Verizon, and yeah, you made a question that he's the
That would
whole.
explain a lot.
That explains a lot.
Oh my goodness.
Now, how many of you grew up with Transformers, and is this kind of like a dream gig? If you could voice, a different Transformer from your childhood, like recast almost, is there someone that you maybe emulate from, Generation 1 or Beast Wars or wherever you jumped off from?
Well, for me, for Starscream, going back to like the other question, they pretty much just were like looking for a Chris Latta or Lada. I've never heard it, so I don't know. Chris Latta impression,
yeah.
pretty much. So I just did that, and then kind of, as the seasons go on, you get like, all right, I'm gonna get a little higher in the pitch and make it easier for myself.
No, that's
Yeah.
great.
Well, now I'm just hearing Chris in my head. You and Chris
Yeah.
battling in my head. Ask that question one more time.
David.
Oh, I just was curious if you were a big fan of Transformers when you were younger. If there was a character from an older show you wish you had been old enough to play, who would that be?
I mean, I part of me is kind of curious, like who isn't a fan of Transformers in some respects, because it's like it just has been, it's such an institution for cartoon entertainment for kids in many forms. It's covered every medium of entertainment. So it's like, in a way, it's kind of like, it'd be odd to find people that kind of weren't fans of Transformers. I feel like,
Right. But even like when kids are playing with their toys, they try their hardest to do the voices, to do your voices as they're playing with Starscream or Megatron or Shockwave or whatever. I mean, even when I was playing with my He-Man toys, I'm like calling people a royal boob in Skeletor's voice. It's like amazing. So that's something that exists.
Well, I try
here's
to
a fun
find
question.
the kids that do it accurately. You find them young, and you try to dissuade them from voiceover, and you try to lead them into other careers if they're a threat to you. If you can sense it down the road, you
Yeah.
want to
What
steer
you're
them
going to want
into-
to do is go
Yeah.
work the streets in
Otherwise,
Philadelphia.
go
Yeah,
open a
right, from the
Joanne's
bottom.
Fabrics.
Yeah.
You're gonna make fabrics is where you need to go. Yeah,
World
Give
needs
them terrible
farmers.
advice.
Needs farmers.
that's right.
Just scream really loudly into your pillow like 8 hours a day. That's how you train.
Yeah,
That's therapy.
All right, Todd, here's a question.
yeah.
What is the strangest voice acting experience you've ever had?
Man,
That you feel comfortable talking about on this live stream?
We don't want to be.
Where on the
accomplices or
mic did they?
justify.
Yeah. So yeah, I was doing a gig in China. I was doing 2 video games there. I was going out there. It's my first time going out there to work on these video games, and I had just been doing a convention appearance in Canada, and so it was Sunday afternoon. Feeling good, had a great event. Or was it Canada? It was somewhere cold. I knew that. And so I thought, I'm sitting there kicking back in the hotel. I'm like, all done for the weekend, ready for my flight tomorrow. And I get an email from the producer, and he goes, "Hey, just want to make sure you got to the airport okay." And I'm like, that's weird. It's a little early for that email. And then I double check my flight, and I'm like, no, the flight was actually 45 minutes from when I checked that email, not the next day. So already this recording session was going off very well. And so he wasn't, it's strange. He wasn't happy about that. And so eventually I got there late, but of course, because it's China, I mean, it's not like you're just going to be a couple hours late. I mean, you're like a day late. And so they had to move, and I was the lead in this thing. So it's like there was a lot to do. And so it kind of, it messed with the schedule a little bit. But when I got in, we hit the ground running right away. Like jet lag, you save that for later. You got to go. And so they said, okay, here's the studio. It's down this way, turn this way. It's down an alley. You're going to look for a piece of printing paper with the studio name on it. And I'm like, that's weird.
Oh, no.
Printing paper. And so like I'm in Shanghai walking around. I go down this alley. I have a burner phone like Jason Bourne, and I'm like texting. I'm like, okay, I'm looking for. And I walk down this alley, and I'm like, holy shit, there's a piece of printing paper with the studio name on it. It totally is there. And so I go and I knock on the door, and it's like, and then I see on the side all these just old VHS tapes, and I'm like, I don't know. Am I in the right place? Am I about to build a pod racer with Sebulba? What's going on here? I see all these relics of things floating around. And so I go in there. It was a studio. It was fine. But then midday, I was like, so what's with the paper on the outside? And he goes, well, we paint the name of the studio on the alley wall regularly. But the painters that come and clean up the street and are fixing things, they paint over it every single time. So we quit doing that. And we found that when we put a piece of printing paper up with the studio name on it, they don't touch it. So that's why they have the printing paper out there. But we recorded it. And what we discovered in the game, and I won't say which game it is, but they didn't know. They said, oh, you're going to play the hero, but you're also going to do this other role. And he's like, he's the mentor, but I don't think he runs into, I don't think you guys actually converse the way the game is. I don't think you'll actually be conversing with each other in the same scene. And I'm like, well, that's weird, because if I'm the mentor of the, okay. And so we're doing it. And sure enough, we have scenes together where I'm talking to me, teaching me how to be a hero, and the hero me talking to mentor me, asking questions. And so, but it's too late. We're in China. There's no other, we didn't fly other actors in for this. So it's like, well, let's go with it. And so it's out there where I am training myself and inspiring myself to be the best I can be, because I don't believe in myself, but the other self believes in the other self to be you know what I mean? But that was probably the strangest thing.
It's so weird that they thought that the mentor wouldn't talk to the mentee.
It is strange.
It was an online course.
Communicated through a series of emails.
Yeah. I mean, like,
Yeah, it was very weird. It was,
Adrian, could you tell Rocky to do great tonight? Could you tell him that? Thank you.
when
I'm
he
really
gets
busy.
in. When he gets in. Yeah.
When he gets
I'm
in.
troubled.
I don't want to talk to him in person.
So that was very strange.
All right.
That's hilarious.
Now, Billy Bob, I see you have a bunch of figures and stuff behind you.
Oh, I
do you
packed
guys
it. I packed
collect
it.
Transformers? Do you collect everything Transformers, or just your characters? And what do your kids, nieces, nephews, whatever kids you have in your life think about you voicing these iconic characters?
So I'm bad at finding. Oh, you got one too. I got me.
Ooh.
I got
I have
me.
let me turn his face off.
I only buy the ones you can get at Walgreens. Toys R Us is gone. I don't know where to get toys.
I just got. I thought there might be a show and tell segment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only just got the 3-0. Oh, nice.
I love that. Oh, the threes. Yeah.
Yeah, the 3-0 Megatron, the die-cast Megatron from.
Dude, that's diecast. That looks
yeah,
awesome.
from War for Cybertron. So it's straight up like our version.
Something about the metal just is so cool.
It's fantastic. I pose him like this because I didn't want, and I don't have to worry about transforming him and forgetting how to transform him back. So he because my Combiner Wars Megatron is still in tank mode. I can't do a thing with it.
You got to watch YouTube videos on how to.
I have to, or just have my nephew do it. He's always like, "Fine, I got it," and I'm like, "All right." Sorry.
How old's your nephew? Because mine's too young to even. He doesn't even understand that cartoon characters are people.
Oh, okay. He is 9 now, and he finally understands that. I am the voice of this character, and so I keep throwing him Megatron stuff.
Nice.
Please, I'm the cool uncle. Look, please, please. But yeah, I ended up having. I have a good chunk of Megatron stuff. I kind of want to get the 3-0 Optimus to go with this Megatron, just so I can like have him beat up on the ground.
Gotta have both.
Megatron. I mean, if you're gonna make a really cool set, I kind of gotta have both. But yeah, I have a few Megatrons at this point, but probably gonna grab some more. I still need to get Galvatron now that that's out.
Ooh, yeah.
Still need to grab Galvatron too.
I need another Transformers series to do so I can actually pay for all these.
That's the feeling, right? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was
that's
a-
it.
10 Transformers get in one kitchen, and the bake is going to be amazing. And you're like, well, that's the
sold on
series.
I'm in.
This comment made me think of you, Jason. It says, I usually find the calm voice villain seems more disturbing than a growling, super low voice. But I could
Interesting.
just picture you like monologuing internally. Like, I gotta go to the store, gotta buy bananas, gotta get some soup, and I just hear it in Megatron's voice, and that sounds so more menacing than anything else I can think
Oh
of.
yeah. No, especially rattling off a grocery list. Let's see, I need at least 4 apples. Need some limes. Bacon, yes, of course, naturally. But it's funny that someone says that because I usually think kind of the same. It depends. I like voicing, more calm, spooky characters too. So that's always fun. But I also have a soft spot for the big growly boys like Megatron. So
Yeah. Oh,
you know.
Oh, here we go. What would be your preferred song to karaoke in a voice of your choosing? Any of you guys karaoke rock stars?
Silence.
Not that they want to admit.
I don't know.
You don't have to sing. Just kinda
I was like, I moonlight as a karaoke enthusiast.
The Swedish chef singing Ramones songs is kind of funny.
Nice.
That's amazing. Let's create Bob.
Stupid. It
So it
takes a
goes
few
to Bitburg?
beers. Yeah.
It's perfect.
It takes a few beers.
That's great.
I'm not much of a karaoke guy. I mean, I've only been a couple of times, and like, my kind of music is, I like Tom Waits and stuff like that, and that's never on karaoke lists. So but
You got to bring
guess
your own
actually-
CDs.
clearly, yeah, I gotta grab my own.
Have a
But
briefcase with the handcuffs and just have your CD collection in there and just
yeah,
pop it
nobody take
open.
my CDs that no one else bought. Yeah, I get mugged, and they're like, "Oh, here, take it back."
Well, I was thinking that karaoke, it's the one art form that really hasn't had much of an overhaul, really. And if you think about it, if you were to engage in an overhaul with karaoke, I would like to campaign one verse and one chorus. That's it. That's it. That's all you get. As opposed to, oh, great, here comes Bohemian Rhapsody. Everyone buckle in for 15 minutes. All we need is one verse and one chorus, and that's all we want to hear.
Right.
That's it. It's
Maybe
like
a
when you go
gong?
back. What's that?
I said maybe a gong in case
And a
it's just not
gong.
working out.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big X.
Sort of cue up the orchestra to shoo people off the stage. Yeah.
Squirt
Yeah.
bottles.
That's actually a good idea, though, especially because, you're a few drinks in at that point, and you don't want to pay attention to anything.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and the more people who go up there and do, like, short bars of stuff, I mean, that's not a bad idea, actually. I'm here for this. I support this fully.
I would love it if they just were like, they asked you a question like, okay, have you ever gotten paid to sing? Okay, you can't do this. You're not allowed.
Goodbye,
You're not
then.
allowed to do karaoke.
Where would the karaoke go in West Hollywood then? There'd be no karaoke if that was
Just a
only
tumbleweed
wingers
running
out
by.
there. Yeah.
Here's a fun one. You might get asked a lot, but is there a dream character that you would love to voice?
In any animated property.
Yes.
What is it, Jason?
Dr. Doom. I love to voice Dr. Doom. He's probably my favorite Marvel villain. Any number of Batman villains I would love to voice too, but I would love to voice Dr. Doom.
Like Catwoman?
Like Catwoman, especially Catwoman.
Especially Catwoman.
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
Ivy,
I have
Harley
the suit, so I mean, why not do the whole thing?
Be some tense exchanges between Batman and
Oh, yeah.
Jason Marnocha, Catwoman.
Hey there.
I am the knight.
Meow.
Gonna need a throat lozenge.
What would you do,
Sorry,
Billy?
Batman. I have a cold.
I don't even know. I guess I'll piggyback Batman villains. They're all
Right.
Great. You
Right.
can do whatever the hell you want now.
Yeah.
Or remember, Catwoman's
Yeah.
taken.
Yeah, Catwoman's mine.
We've
So you're gonna have
cast
to.
Catwoman.
There's a line.
Damn it.
It's gonna have to be like a lesser character like Joker or something else like that.
Yeah.
As
An
the Swedish
off-brand.
chef.
As-
Swedish chef.
the joke's on you, Batman.
I'd want to do. I would, and here's why. There's a reason. I'd want to do Supreme Court Justice Batman only because he could never be replaced in a series. You always have to use me as him because I'm Supreme Court Batman. And so you can't have these other little offshoot series where it's like, oh, well, this time we'll get Kevin to do Batman. Oh, but this time we'll get Roger Craig to do it. No. I'm Supreme Court Justice Batman. I have to do all the Batman. So that's just a little career security that, I think that.
But
Yeah,
you only
you want the
handle the
fans on your
important
side.
Batman stuff. Like, you
Yeah.
got the appellate courts and the district court Batman. They do all like the real work. You're
That's
just
like-
there like 3 times a year.
I'm
Yeah, that's
comptroller.
like Batman in Taiwan. Like that's not, we don't see that broadcast. Yeah.
Yeah, it's blocked. Well, that's cool. Thank you, Kate. You're actually going to win the Megatron model kit that AJ's holding up.
Excellent.
Congratulations.
Go ahead and hit us up on either Instagram or Twitter at Bluefin Brands. I'll open up a DM with you, and we'll get your information. We'll send that Megatron out to you.
You're gonna have to tell me which Megatron that is because I definitely want to grab that at some point myself. Not that one specifically. I'm not going to take it.
man.
I suddenly
Sorry,
appear
Jason
behind
took
Justin
it.
and
Can't
grab
give
it.
it to you now.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry.
You have to be more
I'll send you one.
cameras.
Don't worry about it.
More cameras.
I allow this.
Yeah. We always take David Clark's stuff from him.
Yeah,
And
always. All the time.
he just volunteers stuff.
I can't have nice things.
But we do have a panel of experts. Maybe they can weigh in on this whole Devastator thing.
Oh my God.
Ah.
It's true.
Now, for you guys, Jason, you're Megatron. What is the best part about being Megatron? Aside from the obvious of just being Megatron?
Just being Megatron. One of the things that I like best is that I got to, in the Prime Wars trilogy that we first did, Megatron's, retired essentially and stuff. So he's, the fans ended up calling him Sassy Megatron because he just kind of doesn't care anymore. And, oh, Prime, you're such a moron, whatever. Like you're just, this is all dumb, which was really fun. So it was really fun to play that version of Megatron. And then, with the Netflix show, I also get to play sort of, conflicted warlord Megatron, which is also really fun. So getting to kind of be two opposite ends of the spectrum on this character has been a lot of fun for me and interesting to kind of explore different avenues with him. Especially in War for Cybertron when, he's not the super maniacal, intensely, like evil guy. He's not sure if we should, do this to reformat these Autobots into Decepticons and stuff. He's not sure about that. It's that Todd guy over there who suggests that initially.
He's hella evil.
Shockwave, yeah. So I like that it was initially someone else, but then of course Megatron comes around to it and he's like, okay, well, this is clearly what we have to do. So I liked that there was that conflict with Megatron for a little bit, but now of course he's just full dive. Bad news, but yeah. So I guess that's been fun for me is getting to play different aspects of that character.
What about you, Todd? You play the maniac of the Decepticons, the evil scientist.
So good, dude.
Are you just having a blast doing it? What are your thoughts on the character, and is it fun to be that just bad?
Well, like Jason was saying, it's always, and Billy was mentioning earlier that with the bad guys, they don't have to adhere to a structure. So they do whatever it takes to get the job done. Even though heroes say they do that, there's a limit. There's a ceiling. And so that's always fun as an actor. But for me, the most fun is just the fact that, you get to, it comes full circle. So you watch a franchise like Transformers growing up, and then you get to be a part of the fabric of that universe. That's the most fun for me, because I think sometimes what people may not always realize is that we are also fans of franchises and shows and characters and things like that. And I think sometimes that gets lost in the shuffle that, it's badass. It's fun to be able to, on so many levels, to be chosen out of all the people that vie for these positions that every day we are doing interstellar combat for the next character. But on top of that, it's being chosen, it's working with great people, working in a beautiful studio. I mean, the Igloo, where I at least recorded, and I'm assuming everybody, Jason recorded, one of my favorites, always a vintage Porsche or car out there in the front that the owner of the studio is like, well, I had some free time, so I just built this car. But then also being a part of Transformers is so much fun. And that's just on the side of it as me as a human being. In terms of as an actor, because as we see in casting notices, voice actors are not human because they're like, we're always looking for real actors, not voice actors. We want real people for this. So voice actors really aren't people. We're figments of entertainment imagination. But working on the show, working as Shockwave was a lot of fun because you do get to give into those little those darker recesses of your psyche to find motivations to move forward through the story, whereas like Luke just wants to get the blue milk from that creature and have a sip, where Shockwave wants to fillet that thing and then wear it as a skin suit. That's a different vibe. Luke couldn't get away with that.
Obviously evil. From the jump.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
But I think that's what's great about War for Cybertron is even Megatron's like kind of side-eyeing Shockwave, like this guy's a bit of a creeper over here.
It's like Megatron, he's doing what he thinks is right, and then Shockwave's like, if we kill our own people, we can get like 5% more power.
I feel like Shockwave,
Megatron, you see this, right?
Shockwave is the Mitch McConnell of the well, listen here, Megatron. We're gonna go in there and get the Allspark. Like he's the one that really gets in there and like he's like, we can't do that, Shockwave McConnell. And then they just go ahead and do it anyway. But,
right.
Yeah.
And the best part is Shockwave isn't just saying, let's think about it. He's like, no, actually I mapped it out already. Right. Like he spent time on it.
Right. Yeah. Way ahead of you. Here's my org chart. Check this out.
How are we funding this? I'm not giving you extra for this for your research on your own time.
You can find money in the budget.
There's always money in the banana stand.
Yep. Perfect. Mr. Manager. Shockwave can be Mr. Manager.
It's just manager. It's just manager.
Assistant to the regional manager.
Yeah.
This is a good question. Do you guys have any pre-rituals for recording? Like, having like voice exercises or just don't talk that day, drink special tea? What's kind of your routine for days you have to record?
I usually sing on the drive over. I find
What are you
that
singing?
open. Oh, all sorts of stuff. Anything that happens to pop on my, like I said, a lot of Tom Waits and stuff like that, especially if it's Megatron, like, fumbling with the blues, whatever, like just stand down there, like trying to, wherever the voice sits, like I try to sort of sing in that sort of voice or whatever. But yeah, I usually, yeah, exactly. Gargling rocks. But yeah, that's usually what I do. I like to sing because it just opens up your vocal cords and warms you up real nice. And occasionally I'll do the sort of whatever things, weird theater things and whatnot. But usually singing just does it for me.
Yeah, I was singing too. I like singing.
Jason, did you have theater stuff before radio and before on camera stuff? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
What was your last theater show that you did where you're like, did you know that was like this was my little swan song to theater right now, or did it just you're like, I'll go back to theater one day and it just didn't happen, or do you still do theater, or what's?
No, I don't do theater anymore. I think the Cripple of Inishman was the last thing that I really did that was of any note in my brain. And then after that, I was like, you know what? I'm already neck deep in this radio thing, and it's more fun it's more spontaneous to do, like stuff just off the cuff and like, line rather than having to memorize it and get stuck in one read or whatever. So I think that's what did it for me was I was like, I don't know if I'll come back to this, but then I've thought about it, but I don't know. I'm so delighted by voiceover that, and getting to play and voice characters that I wouldn't be cast as, happens, more and more. So, I don't know. I don't know if I'd go back to it. What about you, sir? Do you still do, you still do theatricals?
And the thing is, unfortunately, as you were mentioning, it's also a big time commitment.
Oh God, yes.
And so it's also, if we were, I'll tell you what, if we had a time machine and I could go back to the 1920s when comic books were 5 cents and mortgages were $1, then I'd have time to do it. But we just can't do that anymore. But theater is, it's a lot of times fans ask, as I know you've gotten these questions too, of like, what's your favorite acting medium? But they're all just work different muscles. Theater is awesome. I miss aspects of that. I miss aspects of on camera. I love aspects of VO, which you're mentioning in terms of memorizing lines. Yeah, it's awesome not to have to do that, and also to have just a normal work day where typically a normal work day. There have been wee hour of the night sessions, but generally it ain't like being on set where it's 15 to 17 hours sometimes.
Oh God, yeah. Hurry up and wait.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's a little bit of aspects of everything that I miss for sure.
Let's take a moment of silence for theater.
Right.
Job and Blue, he's got a great question. Is the different voicing, something like an animal or a Pokemon versus, an actual like humanoid? What goes into like your headspace trying to voice something cute and cuddly versus an actual like person?
Oh my God, I love voicing Pokemon because when you know you're going to do a Pokemon, you're going in, you're like, I don't have to learn, I didn't even need to know how to read to do this. Like, so there's no lines. I'm going to say Greninja for an hour and then leave. It's the best.
It's that Vin Diesel, I am Groot.
I am Groot,
kind of gig.
Yeah, right.
Do you ever have fun with it, doing the cutesy voices, but doing horrible things like murdering people, like the poor neighbor in Todd's hallway?
Leaving bodies in the hallway. Oh, those rascally Pokemon. Yeah.
I like playing on Cyberverse. I get to do some cute and cuddly guy. I get to do Repugnus, who's probably like my favorite one. And they're these just little cute, I don't know what they're like, little monsters. I think they're called monster. What are they called? I'm going to say monster bots. Sure.
Monster bots. Okay.
That sounds real. Monster bots.
Yeah.
Well, it's I found that it's tough with the humanoids and the non-verbal creatures where it's always emotes and little grunts and stuff like that. When we worked on like Bug Snacks, for example, it was a lot of because in a way you're the thing that you're using to communicate, literal words and sentences are taken from you. So then you're sitting there thinking like, well, how many ways am I gonna grunt to you? Really? And there's like 3 of them, and you're asking for 7 takes. I got 3, and then I got the sequel of those 3. So it's a little bit of that is frustrating, not frustrating, a challenge. And so it's figuring that out. But you see, with Pokemon, I didn't have to go Pokemon. I went the trainer route. So I just got to sit back and watch you do your handiwork.
Control me.
You guys are usually by yourself in studios, right? Like you're not talking to another human person.
Yeah, very rarely. I did a show called The Beach Buds a couple of years ago, in which the like 6 of our principal cast members and then usually a guest were all in the same room together for like a year. We did that. It was amazing. But usually, I'm just by yourself.
Do you prefer to do it as a group to kind of bounce off each other?
I do. I find it
it's
helpful.
so much better in a group.
Yeah, it's so much more organic. Yeah.
In Rescue Bots, actually, the only character that I record with someone else is Mark Ashton plays Snarl, and I'm Sludge. So they put us in the same room together, and we got to just go off each other with the dumbest dialogue, which is like so much more fun than just staring at a wall by yourself.
Oh yeah.
8 hours.
Yeah.
Here's a fun question. Was there a role that you wish you could go back and improve upon? I know that all of us do something. We shoot product videos here all the time. We're like, oh, I should have said this, or oh, I should have done that. What about you guys? Do you have that problem at all, or are you usually pretty confident with how you did your performance and you stand by it?
I think that for me, it depends because sometimes, especially when you're working on prelay stuff, where you see the audience sees the finished product. So we didn't see how big was the hall we were walking in when we were talking, how much action was going on when we said, look out, like we don't know. So in those moments, it's kind of like, there's no way we could anticipate how the environment and things like that. So it's kind of out of our control, at least I feel. In terms of when I think back on performances that I wanted to change, it wasn't so much that I wanted to change the performance. It's just I wish I would have known certain elements that I didn't. Like there's a character that I played that had a big reveal at the end of the series that had I known it first, it would
It's
have
like, hey, that's
influenced.
cool.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like there's this huge reveal that they didn't tell me, and they wouldn't tell me until the end of it, and I'm like, I voiced something, and in terms of saying like, I wish I would have known that. I said it in just a little spicier way, but I said, I wish I would have known that before we did all 20 episodes of this. And so, because for me, I feel like it's not my job to be surprised along with the audience. My job is to make it seem like this is the first time that my character is doing all of this. You're supposed to be surprised. You're supposed to feel anger, sadness, happy, loss, all that stuff. I'm trying to do my character's journey, not be surprised with the audience watching the whole thing. So I need to know all those things because it motivates how I make choices and how I say things the way I say them and what I choose, what I want, what I don't want. And that was a one time where I wish I would have known that. But again, that's I don't know if that's necessarily in my control. It's because I didn't have the knowledge to even know to ask that. You know,
That's fair. I mean,
I think that's true though. Like that's I feel the same way. Where some of it, if I want to change anything, usually it's like a specific like that, where oh dear, I wish that they would have put a little more emphasis and let me know that this I need to be louder or this space is bigger or that's scarier or whatever. Like usually it's little things like that rather than like a whole character or something.
There's one I saw the other day where I was like, man, I wish they told me I was eating.
There you go.
I was eating. Just speaking clearly, shoveling food in his mouth. Look at me. You can hear me perfectly.
That's interesting because like so many featurettes or documentaries we've seen of animated movies, like something that Disneyland did, or Disney rather, but like we see a voice actor watching the screen and what the character's doing and then they're acting. But like that's all fake Hollywood hocus pocus is what you're telling me.
Well,
in
some respects, like when we work on, like for example, like for Ben 10, for example, we see the animatics. So they're not fully animated, but we do see the scope of what we're going to be dealing with. But a lot of times it is. And what they were probably doing, I haven't seen what you're talking about, but it was probably going back and getting pickups, getting adjustments, ADR adjustments once they've animated it. And they're like, okay, we thought it was going to be this way when you recorded it, but actually it works better if it's this way. So look at the screen. We're just going to make an adjustment. So, but then also when you've got celebrities of that, up there in the levels of like, Robin Williams, etc. At that point, they're just doing whatever they really want to do anyway, and the director's like, "We'll take it, great."
Right.
Thanks so much. Thanks.
There's like a lower level of feature too, where they'll hire schmoes like me to do like an entire prelay of a movie just so they can give it to like some celebrity to dub over later. Pay everybody less.
Yeah.
We noticed that sort of shift in the industry when you used to recognize the same voice actors in every Disney movie going all the way back to like the 30s through like the 80s, and then all of a sudden Will Smith is cast in everything or Robin Williams or whatever. Then they start to get this A-list draw, and it takes away from other voice actors that have basically dedicated their lives to doing voice acting work and that get replaced through A-listers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and what's interesting about that is when I go see an animated movie or I play a game, it's a weird dynamic. I love Gary Oldman, but it doesn't affect whether or not I'm going to play a game knowing that he's X person in it.
Right.
So it doesn't, and I understand why they're doing it. They're doing it because like, oh, well, Gary will go on Jimmy Fallon and he'll talk about it and this or that. If you're Call of Duty, you don't need Jimmy Fallon to promote Call of Duty. Like, so it's like, it is kind of what you're talking about where it's like, well, it's so funny because when we work on these movies, it's like, the on-camera talent that don't do voiceover are doing the main roles, and the people that have legions of credits of voiceover are doing Guy C in the very, very back. It's such like, okay, Jason, we're gonna do open heart surgery today. Yes, we could get Dr. Bill. He's been doing it for 30 years, but we're going to try out Dr. AJ, who just started interning last week. We could mix it up a bit.
We call him Doctor just because he likes it.
Yeah, so, you know what I mean?
But you get to hold the gauze.
Just go
Operation
backwards.
here or there. I think I got this.
AJ's dad is really famous, so we gotta
He's going to go on Fallon.
He's gonna go on.
Dead body in the hall. Letting AJ operate.
Yeah, Jesse's been so patient. She's they've been trying to ask questions the whole time. They want to know what is the most memorable moment during your career? What was something where you're like, yes, that's the exclamation point I wanted?
Must not be that memorable. We don't have it.
Well, I have one. I have one that I
Apparently
think
nothing.
I told one last time. But in the third season of the Prime Wars trilogy, Power of the Primes, we had Megatronus appear, who's essentially like the Decepticon god, more or less. And he ended up being voiced by Mark Hamill, who is one of my idols and one of the reasons I wanted to get into voiceover in the first place. But before he had been cast, they had me lay down a scratch track for Megatronus, which I just sort of did this, really sinister, like Tony J.S. kind of thing and whatever. And it was really fun, and I just sort of laid it down so that they could just, start animating to that and whatever. And so when they brought Mark Hamill in to record the actual Megatronus stuff, I was told by F.J. DeSanto, who was the showrunner, that Mark was listening to what I was doing, and he just goes, "What do you need me for? This is great." And I'm like,
That's a win right there.
like it's just like, huh? Like, no. I think, very, very like, oh my God, thank you, Mister. Huh? So that's really. I still have yet to meet the man, but I was tickled and flattered and delighted to hear something like that because that just blew my mind.
He still took the job, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thankfully, he did.
What about you, Billy? Do you have any exclamation points on your career?
I from playing Smash Bros. Going up, it was pretty cool when I got in Smash Bros. I'm a Greninja and then Red Trainer. Who everybody hates Red Trainer. Screw everybody.
I like Red Trainer.
I'm Red Trainer.
I like your ninja. Hold on.
Yeah, no, I like Greninja though. He is pretty fire. Well,
It's
pretty
Red
fire.
Ninja.
There you go. Good catch.
No, that's great. Well, Jesse Box, thank you for being so patient. Your patience has been rewarded. You're going to win the Clear Optimist Flame model kit. That was planned the whole time. We were waiting to see you get upset.
Sandbagging.
Just picking the comments all around yours. Yeah, let's see if this can ride this swing. Well, cool. We're just about at time. If we can go down the line here and just where people here can follow you and keep up with what you're doing on like your Instagram, Twitter, let everybody know. Billy Bob, looks like you are at Billy Bob Thompson. That's easy.
Right? Yeah, pretty much that across the board. My website's got more stuff, billybobthompson.com. Which,
Perfect.
I won't do it, but
Add a .com to it.
yeah, just add an OND or whatever. You know how to spell it.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
That's great. And Jason?
Same with mine. It is at J Marnocha, which I think they can see down at the bottom there. But yeah, just at J Marnocha on Instagram and the Bird website and things like that. So yeah, find me there. Let's all
Are you
follow
pretty
each
active?
other. Oh yeah, well, in so much as I post memes and nonsense, yes.
That's all the internet.
I mean,
Yep.
that's what it
That's
is,
what you're
right?
my
I'm just
favorite
because
follow.
especially after last year, I'm like, I'm just gonna
Oh, God,
post
yeah.
stuff that makes me laugh, like like whatever.
Yeah,
It's
Jason's a
fun.
great follow. I follow Jason, and he's always posting stuff that makes me smile. So
Oh,
I
thanks,
appreciate
brother.
it.
Appreciate that.
And Todd, where can people find you? What are your fans called? Corn what?
Porn stars.
Perfect.
With a K?
Amazing.
Because my last name's Haberkorn. And so
That's what it is. I've been trying to
yeah.
figure that out since someone first said it.
He's at cornhub.com.
I mean, I like
I'm
corn
clever.
too.
Oh, I need to
love
get
corn.
that site. So for me, I mostly post on Instagram, as you can see here, but I also just started doing a little Twitch action. I resisted it for the longest time, but we've built up a really nice, and there's some of them are here on the. There we go. Some of them are here watching this, but they're a really, really great group of people, and we support a monthly charity. Every month we change the charity. It has to do with animals typically. Last month was the Lancaster Farm Sanctuary when we raised thousands for them, and then this month it'll be a shark-based a sanctuary for Shark Month. But we're taking a little hiatus right now because I've got a lot of things that go, a lot of going on, as we all have, and so I want to make sure that when we hop on there, we do it right, we do it great, we do it the best we can for everybody. So that is Haber_gamer on Twitch. But yeah, and then hopefully you'll hear all of us in future Transformer stuff and stuff everywhere for all the rest of time.
I've seen his Twitch. His Twitch is really good. He sits in a nice little hot tub. He wears a very tasteful bikini.
And I have different
Signs his
colors,
body.
different colors of tops. And thank you.
Why is
for
it
correcting
tasteful?
that,
So
Billy Bob.
tasteful.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't need tasteful.
Yeah, that was
It
it.
is not
I want tasteful. I go to
pornography.
Marshalls. I go to. I want to be a corn star. I want some flesh.
Stay on Twitch.
That's hot.
Onlyfans.com/Habershock.
Yeah,
Porn stars.
Porn stars.
the haberdashery. Yeah.
.edu.
Nice. Yeah. .gov.
Well, thank
Well,
y'all
that's
for having us.
Yeah,
no,
no,
this
this
was
was
a blast.
awesome, guys. Always a pleasure.
And pleasure to
Absolutely.
see your faces and as opposed to just hearing your voices.
Likewise, likewise.
So good.
Perfect. David, you want to take us out?
Absolutely. So thank you guys for joining us. You guys are so talented and so gracious with your time. Usually we're just grasping at straws sometimes for questions, but you guys were just so much fun. We could do this for hours and hours. I'm sure you'd get tired of us long before we get tired of you guys. So thank you so much for everything. Everyone at home, thanks so much for the comments. Make sure to go to bluefinbrands.com for everything San Diego Comic-Con related. And congratulations to the winners. Just a little programming note. Remember, we'll be back at 2 o'clock to talk about Dragon Ball. I'm sure there's a lot to talk about, especially with last night's premium Bandai launch.
Oh, tell
we will
Chris
see
hi. Are you going to see Sabat? Sorry to interrupt. If you see Sabat or Sean, say hi.
We'll do.
Okay.
And everybody, have a fantastic rest of your day.
Thank you.